What's up, my peoples? I am Gandhi, and today, this is Gandhi Slots number 36. I am going to be covering AGL's decision to use the 4-shot BR, and I'm also going to talk about something that's a little bit more fun to talk about, and that's what you should do on your days off, or days where you just get on and you're not playing the best. And everyone has that, and you don't even feel like playing, and that's something that everyone needs to know what to do on those days, so I'm going to help you with that. Now, before we get started, I was going to hold off on doing Gandhi's thoughts for a while, because, as you can see, the headset is officially broken. It's done. Rest in pieces. The mic doesn't work, nothing. Astro's kind of shit the bed on me. It's probably part because I didn't take care of them myself, but, it is what it is. So, that's that. So I apologize on the sound quality. The sound quality's going right through this little guy right there. The webcam. It's not the best. But so let's get the show started here. So yesterday, AGL kind of pulled at the strings of people a little bit. They were like, oh, we're gonna use the 5-shot BR because of this, and everyone was kind of like, what the hell? Like, why would you not use the weapon tuning? Why would you not go to the 4-shot BR? And then it was clear that they made it kind of apparent that they were going to use their decision to use the 5-shot BR, to get more team passes sold. So, if you look at the Twitter, it was like, retweet if you want a 4-shot BR, or, if we sell out the team passes, then we'll have a vote, and then there'll be a 4-shot BR, which is a smart business model, really. I mean, you have to take advantage of the scene any way you can, but, it's like, do you really need to do that, man? Like, all you had to do was come out and say, hey, we're using the 4-shot BR. Now, for a lot of people, they don't understand why this is a big deal. So the big deal here is the simple fact that, the weapon tuning comes out the Tuesday before the event. So for competitors, the people who, are going to be playing Throwdown, who are going to be playing customs, they're not going to have the right settings until they're not going to have the right settings 4 days before the event, and that's their mark. It's 4 days right before the event. Then they can finally start practicing the way it's supposed to be without the modded settings. Now, is that sufficient time? No, it's not. But I lived the same situation back in Halo 2. But the difference in Halo 2 was that patch didn't change the BR from a 4-shot to a 3-shot. It didn't change the damage. It didn't nerf weapons. All that patch did was it eliminated you being able to grab weapons through the floor, so you couldn't grab the oddball bottom middle on lockout and then run bottom green. Couldn't do that anymore, and so you couldn't jump up bottom blue room either and grab the magnums and come down and dual wield them. And then the other thing was it made melees it made any melee a 2-shot melee. There was also a couple glitches that came out of that, like the BXR, but no one really knows if they were there before that patch or not. But that's kind of when they became apparent, was when that patch came out. So that's a big difference than what we're doing here. Now 343 is launching a full weapon tuning. Okay, so in order for people to play, for those last 2 days on that Tuesday and Wednesday, they're going to literally have to make settings that's like 90% reduced damage, or 90% damage, so the BR becomes like a 5-shot kill. It's an inconvenience for 2 days, and those last 2 days are kind of the most important. But at the same time, you can spend it, well, they've been playing for a month. Who the fuck cares about 2 days? Why not use just the 5-shot BR in this scenario? And I feel for the community. I really do, because it's a tough situation. But personally, I look at our demographic, and I look at the people who are going to events, the people who are spending their money. These people want the 4-shot BR. You have to give the people what they want. Now, fortunately for us, we have modders who have made the same settings work that we're going to see in the weapon tuning. So you have the nerf DMR for the range. You have the increased light rifle rate of fire when zoomed in. You have the 4-shot BR. Now, with these settings, though, grenades are like nukes, and there's a couple other problems in there, but it doesn't, you overlook it, because really what you're getting at with the 4-shot BR is you got to get that feel of how you want to move around the map. It's no longer going to be, sprint everywhere, right? Like, I played a little bit yesterday. Last night, and I got punished every time I sprinted. It was the best thing in the world. And for the first time in my life, I realized, wow, I actually have to think again. And I was playing against Bestman, and Bestman was like, oh shit, I may actually start playing this game because people die. Now, a 4-shot kill, that's something that everyone misses. And the big reason is because, for a viewer standpoint and a player standpoint, you don't want to be in a battle for 2 fucking seconds. Like, it's very, like, yeah, of course, people get 5 shots. But online, like, I mean, you're in battles for, 5, 6, 7, 8 sometimes shots. Well, if you're me, 8, right? You guys probably finish it by 7. But so, yeah, I'm in a battle for 2.5 seconds. That's awful. That is just abysmal. But so with the 4-shot BR, you have that same battle 5 or 6 shots. You're in that battle for less than 2 seconds. For a viewer, that's more appealing, and it's also going to give more kills faster. And there's one thing that we've seen apparent across all sports is that people want to be entertained. That's why you have the 2-line passing rule. They got rid of the 2-line passing rule in hockey, so you can fucking pass it all the way. You can kind of cherry pick and like. That's why in the regular season you never see anyone play defense in the NBA. And I know people are going to give me a fuck ton of examples, but I don't care. Hate the NBA. Don't give a shit what you think. It sucks. They don't play defense. Go fuck yourself. And now the same thing's happening in football. You can't even fucking hit people, right? So the scores are just. But you know what? People are more entertained. And viewership's at an all-time high. So who are we to fuck with the judgment? But so that is equivalent to the faster kill times. Now, I'm not saying that it needs to be like Call of Duty, where it's like a 0.2 seconds. I'm not even saying that it should be like Halo 1. And everyone here knows how much I love Halo 1. I'm not saying it needs to be a 0.6 kill time. What I'm saying is by having that 1.4, it's going to make it more viewer-friendly. And people are going to get punished, and people are going to die. So with that, though, the big thing here that I'm focusing on is that everything's going to change in the game. We may see, holding top pink, or top pink. We may see that holding top purple on Simplex becomes the staple in the competitive community. Because you can do so much more damage. Because people can't sprint. Because by the time they get up to pink, or time to get up to gold, you have 3 shots in them on a BR, with your BR, and they're quarter shields left. That's a big fucking difference. Because then people have to start to work with their teams. And they're like, okay, guys, we got to push up together. I'm getting melted here. Right? Everyone remembers Halo 3 Narrows. Everyone remembers that. Remember when you all 4 die and you spawn like back lobby and you're the first one to spawn? You're like, alright, I'm going top middle. But you can't sprint because the game was that much better. But so, you're walking up there, your gun's ready and you're fucking shooting and you get melted. You can't push out by yourself. You got destroyed. So then what we're going to see is the game's going to actually slow down, but it's also going to pick up to the point where people have to think about every single decision, and then that makes the game more intricate, and that makes the game better. So for a caster like me, I really think the 4-shot BR is the way to go. Now, the big problem with this whole thing is that, there is the modded settings. They are modded settings, and maybe not everyone knows where to get them. I get that. I understand. But I think, the people who are going to go, no, I think AGL, I think it's going to be a community thing. I think AGL has to do a much better job of promoting where the game types are going to be found. I mean, they did a pretty good job today on Twitter with getting tweets out there, but if I'm them, I'm sending out that tweet every single day, 2 or 3 times a day, just because, they say a tweet on average is 10% of your followers are going to see that. So, 10%. I would just keep sending that tweet out over and over and over again. And so everyone saw it, because people need to know that they can find the modded 4-shot BR damage in Arena Gaming's file share. And I don't even know what it is, personally. I gotta think it's Brad's. Missed my mouth a little bit. I gotta think it's Brad, but I'm not 100% sure. But if anyone knows this and wants to send me a tweet, Twitter's right there. I'll put it in the description of this YouTube video, and we can move forward from there. But, so, my big thing here is I understand where people are coming from, where they want 5-shot kill, but I also really think that for the viewer, for a way to show off the weapon tuning, I think as a whole, for every community, this is going to be beneficial. And the reason it's beneficial is because a lot of people are going to say, holy shit, dude, this kind of reminds me of fucking Halo. Where can I play these settings? And then everyone's kind of gets all like, they get kind of weird out. They're like, oh, wow, this is kind of like Halo. And we may see a viewership spike. We might. I mean, it's only going to help because it's the biggest Halo 4 tournament since MLG's. and that's the way it has to be promoted, and that's the way it is being promoted. So of course you're going to see probably a viewership spike, but really, I mean, you have a 4-shot BR kill, and you get these people who are teetering on the fence of, like, they're like, oh, I want to get good at Call of Duty, but, because there's so much money involved in that, but, like, Halo's still my love. Like, I love you, but I can't be with you because I want to make money. You're dragging me down, Halo, but God, I don't know if I like you. And it's this weird, fucking crazy relationship that they're in. And so when they're teetering there, if you give them a good experience, and it goes back to that nostalgic feeling, which everyone's going to feel again. Everyone's going to feel that. As soon as, I felt it last night. I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4. I was like, oh, the Roy strafe comes back. I don't know if anyone played Roy, but he always strafed right, left, right, jump, and he forward every time on the 4th shot. It's just how the fuck it worked. It's the most frustrating thing on the world. He literally did it from 2008 all the way through, and you just couldn't mess with it. It was disgusting. But so you get that old school feeling, and I think a lot of the old school players we may see return because of that. So that's my little rant on that. Now, I also think that with that, Halo 4 is going to become a much better game. Now, I personally like Halo 4. I think if I didn't like it, I wouldn't play it. I think there's some things in it that need to be, fixed, but, we're getting there. Baby steps, obviously. I think the best thing you can do is continue to voice your opinion and make sure that, they come around as much as they want. I think the more... I really hope this is what happens, right? Like, I hope all of our concerns get voiced and, they take into account, maybe not 100%, maybe not even 90%. I think 80%. I think we need to just keep working on Halo 4, and then by the time, Halo 5 is getting ready to come out, but before they start, like, production on it, or if they start production on whatever, I would like to see a complete package of Halo 4. I think that would be the best thing for us, because then it's like, oh, well, they've done nothing but move in the right direction going into Halo 5, we can expect a good game. And that's the best thing, because when you have a whole community that says, oh, yeah, this game is going to be good, instead of, oh, shit, I don't think I'm buying Halo 5, man. I think that's going to be a big difference. But so, let's talk about your off days. Now, these are the topics I really personally love talking about because they're a little bit different than what everyone else is going to give you the answers for, and I can put my own little spin on it. So, I got an email asking me saying, "Hey Scott, what do you recommend for people do on their off days?" And by off days, I mean whether I can play or not, or I get on and I'm not listening to call outs, and my map positioning's not the best, and I'm getting outshot and I'm getting frustrated, and then I end up not communicating. Like, what do you recommend I do on those days? And I was, perfect. Now, the first thing about off days, and something that a lot of people need to take into consideration. I know a lot of people like to say the grind is real. First off, what happened to practicing? Where the fuck did the grind is real come from? I think whoever came up with that needs to go straight to hell. What happened to just playing the game? You don't have to have a grind. You're just playing a game. Moving forward. The big thing here is I know everyone wants to practice. I know everyone wants to get better, but you kind of have to deload. It's just like working out. You kind of have to deload from video games. And by that I mean you have to take a couple days off. Like, there's times where you're just burnt the fuck out, and there's nothing you can do about it, man. You hop on and you're like, God, I don't want to play. But I'm going to force myself to play. Like, whatever, I got to get better. Like, I have to get better. And I know when you're on a team, it happens a lot because you don't necessarily always want to get on. But when your team gets on, you're like, well, I'm getting on. I got to, right? Like, that's how it works. And so, you get on and things kind of suck and you're working through it. But one of the good things about when you have a team and you get on, one of the good things about that is when you're playing at your worst, all your bad tendencies come out. So what you can do is take a stop and take a break the next day and say, hey guys, listen, there's no way. I need a day off. And everyone's going to be like, okay, that's fine. It's understandable. And when you take that day off, so this is now your off day. There's two things I recommend. When you take a day off, you gotta hopefully you have a hard drive. I don't. But so hopefully you have a hard drive. And the first thing I would recommend you doing is going over your gameplay. And when I'm not talking about the gameplay where you do good. I'm not. You want to pick your shittiest game type that you just go to, Halo Waypoint or whatever the site is, and say, okay, what's the worst game I had when I played with my team? And you're gonna check it out, and you're gonna be like, oh shit, 3-15 on Haven Team Slayer, oh fuck, and you're gonna start it up, and you're gonna kick your feet up, and you're gonna sit there and you're gonna be like, oh fuck, I'm retarded. And there's gonna be instances where you're literally sitting there and you're like, wow, I'm fucking dumb. Like, I don't know why I made that play. But the best thing that happens from this right here, when you're analyzing your own gameplay, you can't look at it as, oh, they got lucky. Oh, I can't believe he was in this position. Where the fuck did that frag? No. You cut that out right away. You cancel all that out and you look at what you can do to get yourself better. Now, when you're doing that, it's gonna look a lot like this, right? So you're watching yourself and take out a notebook. I'm not saying go completely in depth on everything, right? Just do a game. Just do one game of yourself. Take out a notebook and jot something down. Just pick your shittiest game and be like, Haven, okay? Say, I got 7 deaths. I counted up 7 deaths throughout Haven Team Slayer where I was bottom middle. And there was times where I would spawn top blue and they were at red, and I decided, oh, okay, I'll just drop bottom middle and try to flank, and I died every single time. That flank, that's one of those 1 in a million plays, right? You're not going to get away with that ever. I mean, you can, but the stars have to align perfectly. You have to have 2 guys pushing from street, then you have to have like a guy top middle, and then maybe you can get away with it. But even still, when you have all that pressure, they're going to be dropping low, and they're going to probably spot you. So you have to be fast, right? So you notice that you go bottom, 7 deaths. Stop going fucking bottom. There you go. And the big thing with like Haven, for example, is you don't want to have concrete shoes. And really, you don't really even want to have a concrete mind. And by that, I mean, you don't, when you have, I think of Zelda, right? When you put on those sinking boots, those concrete boots, or heavy boots, whatever the fuck they were called. I can't remember. Man, that's depressing. I really thought I would remember that. Like, as soon as I started talking about it, I thought I would be able to remember it. Oh, well. But so, you put on those boots and you sink, and you're moving slow as shit. Like, when you have concrete boots on Haven, this is when you find yourself, like, sitting, just red window and not moving, or blue window and not moving, or, like top middle, just like not moving, right? And you're just waiting for callouts. Like that. Halo 4 with Sprint isn't really like that, at least with the 5-shot BR. We may see that it changes with the 4-shot BR, but you have to always be thinking big picture. You can't be thinking short term. You have to be thinking big picture. So you got to think of where they're going to be spawned. You have to take that in consideration, and you got to be working with your team. You got to look at where your team's at, where you killed them at, and then you're going to be able to pretty much figure out where they're going to spawn. That's a good thing. You're good. You're moving forward here. That's exactly what you're looking for. So you see that you died 7 times going bottom. No more fucking bottom. Done. Write down this post-it, stick it on your monitor, done. Don't go bottom, period. Now you're getting better. That's the first thing you do. So analyze a gameplay of your own, look at it as objectively as possible, and try to get yourself better just from your worst game you've ever played. Now the second thing I would do is, well, the second thing is it's like 2 parts, right? There's 2 things you can do. After you do that, you're going to force yourself to do it, and it really depends on where your mind's at, man, to be honest. There's 2 ways you can take an off-day approach. You can just say, fuck everything, and I'm with that, dude. I know exactly where you're coming from. That's exactly what I do. I say, fuck everything. I'm not watching streams. I'm not playing game. I'm going to analyze one gameplay, and I'm going to go watch TV all day. That's fine. Get your mind completely out of it. If you're that burned out where you don't even want to watch a stream of someone like Ninja or Formal or any of these players or me, for whatever fucking reason, you're not going to get better watching me, but you'll be entertained. If that's kind of where you're at, then just do it. And that's the best thing you can do. Just take a full step back and just say, you know what, I need to just clear my mind. And that's going to help you. When you come back, you're going to be better. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen in one day. No. A deload, you take that day off, and then the second day comes around, and if you feel that bug to play Halo, you'll play Halo. But if you don't, take another day off. That's it. So that's option A. Now, option B is a little bit differently. Option B is something for, I guess, the people who really want it, but their mind just can't possibly get into the game. And everyone has those days. Everyone has those days where you hear a call up, but you don't respond. And you're like, fuck. And then you catch yourself in like a 7-minute spree. You're on like a killing spree, right? You're like on a 7-kill spree. And you haven't said a word. Right? You haven't said a fucking word, and you know it, and you're like, fuck, I really need to communicate. But you say it in your head, but you don't actually talk after, and then you die, and you're like, one shot Purple Ridge. And you're like, and your teammate's like, dude, where the fuck have you been all game? And you're like, sorry. Everyone's going to have those days. And now, when that day happens, this is what you should do, right? Because you still want to play. It's like you want to play and you want to get better, but you can't. So the big thing about Halo is Halo is not learned only kinesthetically, right? You don't only learn playing Halo just by playing. That's not how it works. One of the big things we did back in Carbon, and a lot of big things that a lot of people do, is we watched VOD a lot. Like days that we didn't play, we would get on a Skype call or an Xbox Live party chat, and we would just sit there and we would watch like the Ogres play, or we would watch Walshy, or we would watch Legit and Nated play, and we just kind of figure out like their tendencies and stuff, and figure out like what they do on maps. Like that's good. Now today's day and age, you have streaming, and if you're not the best player in the world, you get to watch the best players in the world. It's amazing. It's amazing how that works out. But so, what I would do if I were you on this day off, and then where you just can't get into it, is throw up a stream. Just put up a stream. Literally kick your fucking feet up, hang out. You don't need a notepad. You can sit there on your phone the entire fucking time. Whatever. You're hanging out. Who cares? Right? You're just watching. Now, when you're watching the stream, when he's playing a map, keep in mind, you got to make a mental plan, and you got to say, what do I want to learn from Ninja? What do I want to learn from Formal? What do I want to learn from Snipe Down? What do I want to learn from Trey Try? What do I want to learn from Absolutely, right? That's what you want to do. You want to run through all of these players, and you got to say, what can I get better from watching them for? There has to be a reason you're watching them. There's no reason to watch me, right? Unless you want to see me just destroy stuff. That's it, right? But so when you're watching a good player, you have to think of something as to why you're watching them, okay? Like, when I came back from Nashville, I knew how to play 1,000 times better than I ever knew going before Nashville, just because I watched all the best players play it. I watched Pulse. I watched Warriors. I watched Status Quo. I watched Pure. I watched Severance. I watched Adventureland. I knew how everyone played, and I knew what my play style would fit in and how I should play those maps. That's amazing. It's easy as shit. That's awesome. So when you're watching the stream, just sit there and say, well, what can I do differently on this map? And notice, Ninja's a good example, because Ninja's a very, very versatile player. Like, there's times where, you see him grab the brainer. There's times where you see him get the railgun. There's times, you see him all over the map. Then there's other times where he doesn't get shit, and all he's doing is BR, and he's laying down a lot of cover fire for his team, or he's also just positioning himself just ever so perfectly. That's amazing. You watch that and see how he adapts and try to adopt some of the things. The main thing about Halo, and this is something where, I don't necessarily like sprint, but with the 4-shot BR, I'm hoping that it, negates it entirely. But Halo, in a nutshell, is a game of angles and positioning. Take notice of that. The pros know how to use positioning. They know how to use their angles better than everyone else, and that is exactly what you should be taking from it. So on your days off, there's 2 ways to look at your days off as I'm going to wrap this out. There's 2 days. There's 2 ways, rather, not 2 days. Well, yeah, I mean, you're going to take 2 days, unless, you're good day 2, but moving forward, you can either say, fuck it all, and you're going to watch TV all day, and you're not going to do a goddamn thing, and you're going to let your mind just recuperate. Awesome. I salute you for that. That's what I would do. Sometimes I can't even handle it myself. I don't even want to look at Halo. I don't want to be near it. It's fine. I understand where you're coming from. The second way is, to get on a stream and figure out how to get better at some map. Now, I'm not saying you have to watch them all night. I'm not saying you have to copy their exact movements. Sometimes you can just watch how people are playing and say, oh, okay, well, if I ever play them, I know where he's going to go. You're getting better. You're gaining knowledge. You should always be striving to learn something new every single day. Everyone knows that. You know, your elementary school teacher tells you that, and you're like, yeah, definitely. I'm going to go home and play my fucking Game Boy. Well, I guess nowadays you guys play Nintendo DS or whatever the shit. But so, anyways, you know, you should be learning something from these pros. You have to be taking advantage of the live streams, man. I never had that back, you know, back in 2002, 2003. I didn't get to watch the Ogres play all the time. I never figured that shit out. I had to watch an event, and then a new event would come out. I'm playing the old way, and they're playing this new way. So, you know, you guys have this advantage of staying on top of how the games are played the entire time. That's amazing. Use it to your advantage. You've got to use it to your advantage. And the more you use it to your advantage, the better off you're going to be. So, that's my show. This is episode 36. If you like it, comment. If you have any questions, you know, just drop it in the comment box. I'll get back to you. Also, my email is in my Twitter bio. Feel free to send me emails. I normally get back to you guys pretty quickly. Other than that, thank you guys for tuning in. I apologize on not having a headset. It is broken, but it's coming soon. So probably after Pittsburgh, I'll have it. I got a Steel Series. All right. I'll see you fuckers later. Peace.